Hello, my name's Adam, and I would like to thank you very much for purchasing Climbing with Control Rig. This is a system that allows us to use logic to control animation. It's a very powerful tool given to us by Unreal Engine 5, and I would like to show how I've implemented it to use for climbing, specifically climbing difficult and complex terrain that still stays logical and lifelike as our control rig that is attached to our character tries to figure out how to traverse in the world when we're asking him to climb or her to climb. This is a very unique type of animation because it uses no animations. The control rig is taking the skeleton, given some basic rules on which way it's allowed to bend, and then it just moves based on our logic. Today we're going to do something very simple. I just want to show everyone how to take the system that I've made from the Epic Marketplace, open it up, experiment with it, and then we're also going to cover how to migrate my code into your blueprints so that you can use this character climbing logic in your project. So first off, the link that's actually given to you from Unreal Marketplace will be in this folder here, in the content folder. And then once we open up the content folder, of course you've gotten at least this far because our video is inside of this file, but our zip is right here. Now I've copied and pasted that right here, and we're going to simply open this up, and once we've unzipped our climbing with control rig, we will get a Unreal Engine project, and we're going to open this up just by double clicking. If you have Unreal Engine 5.3, this should open up immediately. And here we are. It's a very simple project here. The way that I've programmed this is that it can either use a gamepad or it can use the keyboard. I prefer the gamepad just because, you know, I'm an 80s child. But this is something that is very simple to use. We simply walk to a surface and we press either the F key or the right shoulder button of our gamepad. And here we go. Many interesting things are happening with our control rig right now. We're getting shoulder shift. We're getting predictive rotation. And we've also added something very interesting. Because of the interpolation methods that I've used, we can now jump from surfaces and his feet and hands stay in place. He breathes while in place, and it's very smooth. I think we've created something very nice here. We can use it in systems such as this. Oh, well, it helps when you're pretty good at your own thing. I am not, however. This mantle I will continue to work on, but it is pretty much just a placeholder so that you can use whatever animation you want to for mantling. People prefer to have he just throws himself up there, catches his feet. I will be improving that though, because I want to try to make some animations that use control rig. I think that once you have an idea of what it is that you want your character to do, you can even create complex animations using the logic. It also comes with this interactive hands and feet, trying to keep from finding things in the world that would, you would faceplant with. And then of course, this is what I really made it for, was the ability to climb complex geometry while still looking alive. Could you imagine trying to make animations for all these different scenarios? It would be very difficult, but allowing the control rig to figure out where to go, how to bend, how to react, how to stretch. It's a very fascinating and a very powerful tool. So we've opened our new project. It's very simple. I just give examples of things you can, and even over here things you shouldn't do. I could make a bloopers rig just from climbing the things over here. It's quite funny, but of course, I mean, you wouldn't expect there to be too many rules for a system like this, because the idea is that it is in fact made to climb complex geometry and look good no matter where it's at. There are some extremes, and of course that's covered. All you have to do is play inside of this to discover what it is you can and can't do. And of course there's 1,000 examples of either, I'm sure, that I haven't come up with or constructed. But the idea of this program is that, or this system is that, it should make creating your landscapes and an adventure type character that you want to be able to climb, you can create your landscapes without so many rules. Just a couple simple rules that you follow, and then the character and the animation control rig, the blueprint, they do the rest. Alright, now we want to migrate. We want to migrate this climbing control rig system to a brand new one, or say your already existing Unreal Engine project. Well, it's very simple. You'll come over here to our content browser, and inside of content browser you can just right click on the content. You go to migrate, and you migrate everything from the game down. We don't want to migrate this top we do want to migrate this top control rig. We want all of this to come with this, and you'll see that it selects everything basically that I have here, which is not very much, so it won't take up too much space in your project, and we can take care of, we can get rid of all of this that we don't want out of our project, but it'll put it all in one nice folder in your project once we migrate. So now that we've selected the things that we want to migrate, we just press OK. For me, I want to migrate this to a tutorial project, which is something, it's literally just a brand new, completely untouched Unreal Engine third person default project. But of course, this could represent any project. And then I'll want to double click on the content folder. Now once I've done that, that's all I have to do. Just select folder, and then Unreal Engine will migrate everything that's inside of what we selected to be migrated to the project that we want it to be migrated to. Yep, simple and easy. We're going to exit out of this one. We're going to open our Unreal Engine. And here it is, our tutorial project. Okay. And inside of our new project, you see here we have this, and if I were to mash play, well, I'm still the same character, and I don't have any of my interactive hands or climbing ability. Well, that's simply because we now need to select our third person character blueprint, which is BP underscore third person character climb. And we'll do that by going here into the third person folder in our content browser. And then we'll go to the blueprints folder. Oh, mistakes were made. Nope, no mistakes were made. And then we'll double click on the BP third person game mode. Anybody know why this happens? Me neither. And then we'll come up with this menu here, and simply here at the default pawn class we have a drop down window here, and you see instead of BP third person character, which is the one that Unreal Engine provides, we have a BP third person character climb, which is the one we just downloaded and migrated. We select that, we compile, we save, and then if we mash play, here we go. There's our Manny. He's running around in the world that Unreal Engine gives us to begin with. And we can climb. It's just that simple. Now, obviously in your game, you're not using this mesh. Obviously, you're not going to make a game that looks with your main character being the Unreal Engine 5 default Manny. Now, as long as you have the Unreal Engine skeleton, this blueprint will work. Now, of course, we're not done yet because I want to do something else while we're here. Let me show you exactly what we're doing. Here in our content browser, I come to our climbing with control rig. I go to our our CR climbing unique assets folder. And then I'll go to our BP third person character climb blueprint. Once here, I'll want to let's bring this closer. I'll want to select our character mesh, and we're going to change it to Quinn. Now, Quinn is a different size than Manny, and she doesn't quite look right when she climbs. Let's do this in a new editor so we can always see it in full screen here. So when she wants to climb, her arms are much shorter. Giving her a very straight-armed look. It doesn't look good, and also her knees are bent in a very strange direction. Well, there's some very simple things to do to fix this, and we can go through that really quick. While we're here, we're going to open up our unique assets. Now we have our BP third person character climb, our animation blueprint Manny climb, and our control rig climbing graph. Oh, that's silly. We should be here. Now that we have those three open, there's several things we need to do. First, I want you to notice all of the green comments. Whenever we change the size or speed of our character or the length of their arms or legs, we will be basically looking for everywhere we can to find these green comments, because this code was developed alongside the control rig. This was necessary for more lifelike movement. However, now that it is built, we can change some variables here in code to adjust for size and style of character. Just remember, this must be done in the control rig as well. To adjust for factors like limb length and movement speed, look for all the comments with a green color like this one for variables change. Well, she's not going to be much faster or slower than our ABP Manny, but she is built different. She has shorter limbs, and her arms are shorter, and also her IK changes, and I'm going to show you how to correct that for her or any other character that you've put in place, as long as you have the Unreal Engine 5 skeleton. And of course you need a full body IK setup, which pretty much are most of the ones I've come across so far have that when you buy off of Unreal Engine, for sure. So here it'll be the same thing. We're looking for our bright green comments. They'll take us exactly where we need to go. Now she has shorter arms, so because she has shorter arms, as you can see here, we'll go to the random float here. This actually selects for how far our hands, this one for the right hand specifically, how far our hands can travel, or before they are asked to travel, when you're moving your character along the surface while climbing. Well, the Manny can reach all the way from 70 to 85 centimeters away on either X, Y, or Z. But because Quinn has much shorter arms, we want to change that. We want to bring it down to, say, anywhere from 62 to 75, or maybe even smaller. We'll say from 62 to 75. And we'll just plug that in. It's just that simple. And of course, we'll have to do that with all of them. We'll just change these random floats here at the top of our climb trace. Oh, and for legs, we'll want something a little bit longer. Actually, we could probably just leave those alone. Because her legs are very similar to Manny's. Also, just an interesting thing here, if we want to see her instead of him, all we have to do is come over here to our panel here, to the right of the screen, select our preview mesh, come down here to the SKM Quinn, and use the Quinn. Now we can see her better. That way, when we're doing things like, say, trying to figure out where we want to draw this line, we can actually look at her body in comparison to make sure that she's going to act correctly, so to speak. And then also, while we're here, we're going to want to go into our back trace, because you see here the green note telling us that we'll need to adjust the pelvis and spine average distance to accommodate for larger or smaller characters. This can be done in the pelvis trace and back trace functions. Well, her legs aren't really smaller, so we're not going to adjust our pelvis trace, but we are going to adjust our back trace. We'll go here. For larger or smaller characters, we simply need to adjust the Y coordinate in the if node in the true and false pins. For larger characters, we will want to decrease the value in the Y coordinate. Say we have -50 presently for a larger character, we would change it to, for instance, -100. This will have to be experimented on to get correct, and that's actually very true. So here in our false specifically, our true is really just in the climb ending, which is basically when she's or when we are getting up onto a surface or ending our climb at all. So here's set at -50, but I'm thinking because she's shorter, her arms are much shorter, we will want to do something like -25 here. Very simple. These are for really characters that are larger, and we can just follow all of these, but this is just for example. And then if I come all the way down here to this section here, this is our powerhouse here, our full body IK. And if we were to follow it all the way down inside of our bone settings, we have some very special setups just for our Quinn's thighs. As you can see here, for setup for our Manny, our thigh has preferred angles at 1.1 in the Y coordinate under the preferred angles. But here, the Quinn needs a 0.01 in the preferred angles. I don't know why it's so different and why it changes their animation so much, but this is my right thigh. Yep. And this is my left thigh. And I basically just want to plug these pins, just the pins, taking over control. And this will allow us clean up a little bit. Now, if we were to go back into our climbing setup, we can see now that when she goes to climb, her arms are much closer with less crazy stretch, and we see that her knees are no longer bowed out like a crazy person. So big improvement. And now, of course, we can climb with her just like we do the Manny. She leans in forward compared to the Manny because she has long legs and short arms. And we can do this with any character, no matter their size. And there we have it. It's just that simple. I want to thank everyone so much for purchasing Climbing with Control Rig. Remember that if you have any questions, you can always email me at ismeadam04@gmail.com. I have my email set up in Epic's Unreal Marketplace so that anytime you need help, I'm able to get back to you in a timely manner. And if there's anything else that y'all would like to see me do, I do have a YouTube channel called Gaming Win. Come visit and you'll see some future projects that I'm working on, and I am going to start doing some tutorials. I don't plan on making money off of everything that I do, but this took a lot of time and effort, and it was a crazy learning curve, and I think that I've come up with something that's fairly nice. Thank you again. Have a good one.